Right, so I feel like I've talked about our new gen striker, Chavez-Carretaro, a lot in the last episode. But since then, he's kind of gone on to new heights. He's taken this league by storm, and I can't wait to show you exactly what he's been up to. We finished our first season here at Almeria. I'm going to show you how we finished this season off, and then maybe, just maybe, think about some transfers too, because that's what I love to do best. Should we get into it? Come on, then! Hello and welcome back to the Almeria DOF save, where at the moment, we're doing a lot of talking about this guy here, Ulises Chavez-Carretaro. Yes, I've updated his face. I felt like he's so good that he needed a real life face, so this is what I've added in there. Hopefully you like it. I know he looks a little bit older, but he's going to get a bit older. He's 21 now as well, by the way, and he is destroying this save. I've called him in the last episode the best wonder kid in the game, and I still think I stand by that, you know, and he's going to become ours permanently when he joins from Spurs this summer, and it is now the summer. It's the 15th of May. We finished our first season at the club. Before we get into that, I feel like I need to address this. My voice isn't really working properly, which isn't ideal when you're recording YouTube videos, so apologies for this. Hopefully it's just in today's video and we'll get ourselves through it. Maybe I'll speak a little bit quieter, slightly ASMR, but sorry about the voice. There's not a lot I can do about it. I'll go and have some more Lemsip in a second. Anyway, back to the save, back to the 15th of May, the end of our first season here at Almeria. A change in the save, which is, it's brought new life to it for me. I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun, and luckily we're having a bit of success as well. Specifically, success in terms of our striker is scoring goals. This is his first season profile as he's getting better. Now 21 years old. Have a look at the goal record over in this corner here, and this kind of shows you how well we've done. He has scored 26 goals in 33 games, 26 in 31 starts in the league, an average rating of 7.07, 3 assists, 4 player of the match awards, and he's killing it. It means that when we go across to the league table now, and we can see where we finish, 6th by the way, it means that he is the top goal scorer in La Liga. What a player we have got on our hands here. 21 years old, and he's outscoring anybody else in the Spanish First Division. This is so exciting and so good for next year as we try and build on a really, really good finish. We've finished 6th in the league. I'm actually gutted. I mean, I shouldn't be gutted with 6, should I? But we've got the same points total and a better goal difference than Sevilla, who finished 5th. We were just outside those Champions League spots. It is head-to-head that means that we finished behind Sevilla. Annoyingly, they went on a really good end-of-year run look. They beat us, and then they won their last 3, including a 5-0 win. I was hoping we'd sneak in ahead of them. We weren't able to do so, but it's a really good record. It's 6th place in the league. It is, in fact, if we go across to here, and I'll show you those results and everything, and how this season has gone in a second, of course. I just wanted to show you this as well here, because I think this just sums it up. There it is. Almeria confirm best ever first division finish. We've done better than ever before. Eidur Gudjohnsen, our head coach, has done better than anyone else has ever done before at Almeria. And it means that we qualify, not for the Conference League, as it tells us here, but about, how many minutes later was it? 14 minutes later, it tells us we've qualified for the Europa League. We are going to hopefully improve on our reputation as a club, which was it regional? It was regional. I'm hoping this now goes to continental, and that means that we can attract some really good players for next season. We're going to talk about the players that we're going to try and attract for next season in today's video, because we're going to have a bit of a transfer focus towards the end of it. The start of the video, though, is going to be all about, I've just realised, by the way, Hedwig Koch is our hot prospect, which is new. I think that goes to show how good he's going to be. I put him into the first team squad. He's not played any games, but he's 17 and looks pretty good, doesn't he? We found some amazing new gens in this save by that recruitment focus that we're doing. Let me show you how the rest of this season has gone then. From January onwards, which was where we were last episode, we were about here. We played this game with Elche, didn't we? We lost that game 1-0, and it turns out Elche are just our bogey team, I think, because we lost to them later on in the season as well. But let's go through. We lost in the next game in January in the Spanish Cup second round. The board weren't too happy with this. We lost to Badajoz, who are in the Spanish Federation First Division. They're not very good, and somehow we lost to those. I think because, did he even rest the team? We played pretty much a first team squad, but we lost that game. A bit of a cup upset there, but I suppose we're focusing on the league, so it wasn't too bad. Some really good results after that. You can see how many goals Chavez-Carretaro is scoring in these games here. We beat Granada, drew to Villarreal, beat Sociedad 5-0. He scored a hat-trick in this one. Lost to Espanyol, but beat Betis with a goal from Carretaro in that one as well. Lost to Vallecano. Up and down, right? It's what we kind of talked about in last episode with the results, where we're winning a lot of games, but also losing 1 or 2 as well. Good run after that in February into March. 4 wins on the bounce. 4-1, 3-0, 1-0, 2-1. Beating Valencia, Vigo, Getafe and Las Palmas. Drew to Atletico Madrid. Beat Bilbao 2-0, 2-1. Look, that's a really good run. Unbeaten in 6 there, look, as we go through into April. In fact, in 7, because we drew to Real Madrid as well. We're mixing it with the big boys every now and then. Anyway, we lost to Barcelona 2-1. I mean, that's kind of mixing it still, away at Barcelona in the new camp. Lost to Sevilla, who ended up going and just pipping us to that 5th place spot. But then a decent end to the season. Well, I say decent, it's actually a little bit disappointing. We beat Mallorca, drew to Gijón, lost to Elche. I don't know why they've got our number as much as they have. I guess in this game it's because of the red card. Samu with that red card. Before a last game of the season win over Cadiz, who I think just about stayed up the table. The rest of the teams, yeah, Cadiz got 27 points, even though they lost to us, to just about stay up. We finished 6th. Valencia 11th, I guess we're above. We looked at maybe taking over as their manager, didn't we? It was Barcelona that won the league. Real Madrid 2nd, Atletico, Villarreal and Sevilla are the 2 that are in my sights now. Can we dislodge these 2 to qualify for the Champions League next year? That becomes our aim, I think, right? Would you say so? I think we're not that far off, that with some transfer recruitment in the summer, I think we might be able to just about do that. That was our season. We saw how we went out in the cup. We finished 5th in the league. I'm going to show you now the tactics and who played in which positions, and maybe have a look at some of Gudjohnsen's attributes as well. Are they going up with the training, the pro license that he's studying for? And then we'll get into some transfer discussions too. Look forward to maybe some players that we might want to bring in over this transfer window. All right, so let's have a look at this tactic screen here then. As you may notice, we're back to Gegenpress. That is because Eidur Gudjohnsen, if I could go across to his screen here, has decided that he prefers Gegenpress again. He does keep flipping between them, doesn't he? And he's back to Gegenpress as his preferred tactical style now. I wonder if that actually ties in with the slight upturn in results we had since that January window, because we had a really good end to the season. We were a little bit umming and ahhing, and there were some good comments actually talking about how well he's doing. A few people mentioning that he felt a little bit like Don Peruzzi in the first couple of seasons with the Spurs save, and that maybe we could improve. I wonder if he's changed some minds there, maybe, just because it could be because of this Gegenpress style. Anyway, let's go through his side. He's still playing this 4-2-3-1. The goalkeeper has, of course, been Lucas Chevalier. I've made I've noticed something. I've noticed that the man that we have been following for, feels like forever, Matthew Colon, as a future goalkeeper, he had a release clause of £84 million that made him very difficult to buy. I have noticed he no longer has that release clause anymore. That has expired, meaning we could now potentially do a deal that would cost a lot of money, but we could stagger the payments slightly in a way that we did a lot with the Spurs players. It means that if he's interested, and should we check right now if he is interested? If he's interested, which he kind of is, he isn't at all sure about joining us, we could do this as long as we put it all the way up to about 66 million to 98 million and add a release clause. We might be able to sign him. Now, is that something we should be going for? I feel like I know the answer from you guys. It's probably going to be yes, but I will show you the rest of the transfer stuff in a second as well, because there's a lot to do. We've got a lot of players who leave at the end of this season because they're retiring. I look at Biragi here. We look at Robertoni's already leaving. We've got Varane retiring as well. We've got, there was somebody else already leaving as well. Oh, that's Carretaro joining us at the end of the season. There's a lot of players already on the outgoing list. By the way, Keiki, we talked about in the last episode, didn't actually end up leaving to go to Bristol City. He's probably going to leave this summer though, so that is another outgoing. Anyway, we'll talk about transfer stuff in a second. Let's go through this team to show you who played where and how well they did. You can see their average ratings and their last 5 games here, as well as their appearances, their goals and their assists. Pozo was the right back, got 5 assists, did very well. Left back was a shared role, really. It was Aaron, and also, though, sometimes playing there was Luis Perez. Not his favoured position. I've just put him in at right back there, apparently. Let me just undo that. In at right back was also, there he goes, Luis Perez, who... Can I do this so that they go up to the top there? There we go. He didn't like it too much and did complain to me, but he's now happy again. But he's turning in to some player, by the way. And we'll get on to why I think he's going to be a sensational player. Not just because of this potential on here. Which, who is this in the opinion of? Molina, the goalkeeping coach. Well, I don't know if... I want to see, actually, how good is he at reading... judging the player potential. Let me check it on here. I don't know why he's doing that. I probably need to change that. 11 and 12. We probably need to change that, don't we? Do we have a coach, actually? Do you know what? It should be Ramon Tejada, who is telling me how good players are, because he's got 20/20 vision on there. Can I actually go and do that now? Advice and reports. Provides player reports. Not Ricardo Molina, but Ramon Tejada. Let me save that now. That is something that we definitely need to do. And can he tell me right now? Do we get a report straight away on how good they are? Potential here. Yeah, there we go. So we still, I mean, good first division player, could improve a lot. He's still got basically 5-star potential, according to a coach that really does know how good a player is in the future. So anyway, we talk about him. He was pretty much second choice. I wonder if he comes in as a first choice centre back next year, if he comes into this position here instead of John Pacheco, who started a lot of games, 33 starts for him, but is wanted by Bournemouth in the Premier League. He has got a little bit of value. Quite a decent wage. Do we sell him? Well, it depends really who we can get in his place, I suppose. Diakabi was the other centre-back. He played 33 games. In midfield, Samu started most games alongside Moretti. However, both of these played both roles weirdly. He kept swapping them because I don't think it was a ball-winning midfielder. He changed the roles. I mean, if we go to Samu here and look at the roles that he was playing, defensive midfielder most recently. He did get that red card look. So ignore these roles a little bit because they always change. I mean, Gudjohnsen's just constantly changing them. Something I did want to mention, Berkovic, the youngster, came in and played 10 games all towards the end of the season, actually. Almost found himself as the first choice as a deep line playmaker. Sort of, I mean, he gets the start and then goes off. But this was from nowhere. Didn't play a lot in the first half of the season. Then came in as a starter. Something to watch because on the screen now, you can see he was named in the next-gen top 50 wonder kids in the world. It was Perez, the youngster we just looked at, the defender, and then Berkovic in at 12 and 13, I think it was. So definitely potential on those two. And the fact that he got himself into the team looks good for the future, doesn't it? Let's move through to the wingers here. And first choice right winger was usually Joaquin Correa. Didn't change too much from that last video. Freitas in the middle. And then on the left-hand side, it was either Charles Vela, 25 games, or Neymar with 16 games, 16 off the bench as well. Vela was pretty much the first choice here, though. I'd prefer him to play on the other side, but there we go. Also, we have Alejandro, who only started 8 games, but I've managed to extend his contract. We're going to loan him for next year as well, because I felt like he's quite a good backup, and if it's a loan player, it kind of makes sense. He's going to stay until the end of next season now with that loan. We're just going to pay his wages, which I think is just a good bit of business for a player that is useful and played 8 starts, 16 off the bench there. So I think he's useful. And then up front, the main man, Chavez-Carretaro, 32 games, 26 goals. He's my boy. He is my boy. There he is, look, leading the line. We might need a backup to him. You see how many games the other players in this squad played. 16 from Neymar, 31 from Moretti, usually instead of Berkovic, but sometimes, well, towards the end of the season, that was changed. Perez played 17. We talked about him. Varane played 10. He's retiring at the end of the season. Shelton off the bench 30 times, I find really funny. 8 from Alejandro, 16 off the bench. And that was it, basically, from the rest of the players in the team. I say we need a backup striker. We usually use Correa as the backup striker there. And Bilal Touré only played 1 game, look, and then we rejigged it around that. But, I mean, Roberto only played 16 games, usually as the AM replacement there. I wanted to give you a bit of an update on how the squad was, who's playing the most, because it does feed into what we're going to do in terms of transfers. Let's look at those transfers briefly now before we do any business, because, in fact, on this screen, it's quite useful to look at. You can see the players that are leaving at the end of this season. Carretaro joins permanently, so ignore that one. But Correa, do we give him another season? He's 33 years old. I'm leaning towards not doing it right now because it's 55k and I feel like we can save the wages and bring in a youngster potentially, which is kind of what we've been doing really effectively. for this season. So I kind of don't know if I want to, but he will need replacing because he played a lot of games. Robertoni didn't play as many, but 88k is on the way out in wages there. He is joining Sevilla. A bit of a rival there, but I think it's still good business. Neymar, do we keep him again? I don't think I'm going to, but we could do. He's not retiring, and he played started 16 games and did quite well for us. But these physicals, they're only getting worse. And I just think when he hits 36 turning, he's going to be 37 by the end of next season. Is he going to be as useful? Possibly not. It's only 40k a week, but I just think we could maybe get a youngster in. Let's see who's available in this window. Baragi's retiring, Varane is retiring, and then we've got 1 year left on some of these guys after that. I do think maybe we sell Bilal Toure. Didn't play many times. He's got not a lot of value left now either. Let's see what we do with him. Maybe bring in some youngsters, but it does mean that with these guys going out, we're going to need to bring a lot of players just in terms of squad depth. Maybe we could get some depth, and I know somebody's going to ask this in the comments. Maybe we could get some depth from our youth team, because we have had a youth intake, of course. We brought in from the youth candidates these two. This is what the youth intake looked like, and I wanted to show you this in today's video because they look pretty good, don't they? Saliu Sacco is the first option, who is a left winger or a right back. I don't really know which one at this stage. I mean, I think he's naturally a right back, but then can't really tackle. He's quite an attacking right back. Lots of potential on him, though. His cons are, I mean, is this now, hopefully, it's the proper guy. It's Ramon Tejada who's telling us how good he is. He's operating at a Spanish Federation 1B level, but has potential to be, I think, a first-team player there. I'm not actually sure what he would be. Is he a winger? He might be a winger, you know. If he gets a little bit more pace, he's got good crossing, good dribbling. This will develop, of course. He's only 15 years old. I've asked him to sign a contract, but I don't think he signs it until he's 17, because he's going to be on this youth contract until then. But Saliu Sacco is an option to maybe bring into the first team squad at some point. And then the second good option is Jonathan Campagna, who is a centre-back. Not really tall enough to be a centre-back for me, but maybe a right-back. I mean, it says he's an inverted left-back, but I don't know if we use inverted wing-backs. Maybe we train him, or hopefully Gudjohnsen trains him as a right-back, because he is right-footed. He's got potential anyway as well, so maybe those two could offer us something in the future. And that is where we're at, basically. I'm going to go and do some stuff. I'm looking at a few players. If I go to my transfer screen here, these guys are already joining and already happening because, of course, I'm trying to do business all the way through. I found some youngsters. I found some good options for the future, and I've got some players leaving as well. If we go to the ins, first of all, I talked about needing a right back. I found this guy, who I think, for an 18-year-old, for £1 million, looks like a really good option. I found him. Is he still going to be on there now that we're signing him? On this recruitment, he's not on there anymore. He was on here. We've got lots of people who could potentially be on here as well. This guy may be still worth a look. On this Wonder Kids thing here, we found Mario Fernandez, and he's got good potential, worth £1 million is what I'm buying him for, and he can play right back. Again, not the great tackling, but I'm going to have to train him because he's right wing back, or hopefully that Gudjohnsen's going to train him. But he's going to come into the squad, definitely, as a non-EU option. I don't know if I want to use up a spot on him, but definitely he's going to be good enough anyway at some point. Ulises Chavez-Carretaro we know about. And then finally, tell me if this is a silly thing to do. I've decided I want to sign Gudjohnsen's son. Andrew Lucas Gudjohnsen is Eidur Gudjohnsen's actual son, and I think he'd be an alright backup striker. Instead of Toure, maybe. He's 6'2", so he kind of fits what I like as a striker. And he looks okay, and I just feel like because he's his son, and he's played in Spain, by the way. He played for Espanyol loads back in, well, for their B team anyway. He played for Real Madrid as well, weirdly, in their B team too. He played most of his career, though, in Sweden here before moving to Portugal recently. He scored goals. I think he's an adequate backup. Am I just being a little bit too sentimental? Maybe. Maybe I am. We haven't been given our new budgets, by the way, yet. So I'm going to wait until we see exactly how much money we have to spend. But then we're going to do some business on top of this. I am selling Benito, or he's going on a free. He's a young defensive midfielder who never really got a look in. His potential didn't look that good so we're going to let him go. Lucas Robertoni, we talked about, is going to Sevilla. Alfredo's going, who is another youngster that didn't look particularly good. He looks okay, but not particularly good. And then finally, Antonio Alexander is going to move on too. All for frees. That's where we're at. I think what I'm going to go and do now is I'm going to go about a month into the window and just see if I do any business in that time. And if I do, I'll let you know what's happening. If I don't, I'll just come back to report on things like the budgets and the plan for the rest of this window. I'll see you. Oh, stop. Wait. There was something else I wanted to show you. This is why I stopped here. We always like to check in with Spurs, don't we? Tottenham Hotspur have finished third, which in itself isn't particularly good. They finished behind Arsenal, which I think was on the last day as well. Spurs finished by losing to Manchester City on the final day of the season, and Arsenal went above them. But the reason I wanted to show you this is they've made another Champions League final. They are through to the Champions League final to play Juventus, and I think I'm going to go to it. It's on the 27th of May. So should we watch it in today's video, even briefly? I mean, maybe I'll just go and watch it and then show you the highlights of the game, but we can go and find out if Will still can go and win another Champions League, because I think it's a great thing that they've managed to make the final again. They've knocked out Liverpool. They've knocked out Bayern. They've knocked out Leipzig. It's been a really good run. I think they went straight through to that one. The league phase, they finished fourth in it. Really good Champions League run from them. And I think it's just be interesting to see what they do. Let's just check. Did they do any business in January? No, they didn't. They signed this guy and then loaned him back out. But that was something that I arranged already. I don't think they've signed anybody. Let's go up to that Champions League final and we'll watch what happens in it. As Gudjohnsen, they've just accepted my £1 million bid for him. I think I'm going to bring him in as a squad player. Hopefully bring this wage down a little bit. Maybe give him less wages but more money if he actually plays. Maybe a goal bonus as well. 25k you want. Let's get you to 20 and I reckon you'll be all right with that. If we do that, you will. 20k a week as a backup. It is sentimental, but I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to the Champions League final and see if Spurs can win this and then also report on what I'm doing transfer-wise. I'll see you then. All right, so welcome to the Champions League final. I've gotten to half-time and I just wanted to jump in here really to show you how it's been going. Spurs and Juventus are 1-1. It was a pretty boring opener from Vlahovic, but then Rafael Leao has scored this as an equaliser right on the stroke of half-time, and I thought I wanted to show you it. What a worldie that is. He's still going well then since we left. We're going to go watch the second half together here and find out if Will still can win the Champions League for Spurs for a second season in a row. And I find it particularly interesting because there were some news items saying that Will still might be sacked for finishing third in the league. I assume was not good enough for the board and Daniel Levy. They could be in to win the Champions League here though. Camavinga's made it 2-1. I thought they were going to check for VAR there for offside, but no, they're not. It's now 2-1. They've turned it around completely. It's Eduardo Camavinga with the second goal. They're basically playing all the players that we signed. Look, Camavinga in from that midfield spot to slots home pass. Dean Henderson in goal for Juventus there, which is a weird one. Vlahovic free kick could save Diogo Costa. Still the goalkeeper. They haven't gone and signed Matthew Colon, which maybe you'd expect them to because he's definitely on their shortlist. Something that somebody else said, by the way, that I did want to mention because I'm going to see if I can do that this summer is Director of Footballs usually have their scouting team that are their team, their own scouts, right? Maybe I should be looking at the scouts that I had at Spurs and see if I can bring them to Almeria, which would be, I think, quite cool. Maybe pick out our favourite scouts that we take with us everywhere we go. I don't know how possible that is because they're probably not going to want to leave Spurs to come to us, but I'm going to try it anyway because I think that is a really cool concept. As we watch this second half here, we are on key highlights. Apparently this is going to be a key highlight. I think it's nice to keep checking in with Spurs, right? And I think they need to win if Will Still's going to keep his job. Is that a red card? Vlahovic is going to be sent off now. That is very soft is what I'd probably say, but they're down to 10. Spurs have the lead. You think that they go on from here to win this Champions League as Antonio Silva goes close. There's the team, by the way. Look, it's Wirtz playing on the right-hand side. Harry Kane is still leading the line for Spurs, even at his ripe old age of what, like 34 now? I don't actually know his exact age, but there we go. Oh, other bit of news that since the last time I was with you, Neymar has told me he's going to retire anyway. So that decision's been taken out of our hands, whether we give him another year or not. He's going to retire. Camavinga, Wirtz, it's gone wide. How did he miss that? My voice is really struggling with commentary. I feel like I shouldn't be doing that. It's hard work. There's Christensen, by the way. We signed him and then sold him on, didn't we? To Juventus. So, and Scalvini we tried to sign at one point, I'm pretty sure as well. Dembele, oh, it's 2-2. The 10 men of Juventus have made it 2-2 in this game with 13 to go. This isn't all over. It might go to extra time. Most of this video is going to be us watching a Champions League final with our teams not even involved in it. Will we have a winner? It's quite a close game, actually. The XG is in the favour of Spurs just about, but it is quite close in this game. Is it Spurs? Why is that one blue? Anyway, it's going to go to extra time. Let's get straight through into it. We're going to have any changes up front. Will he bring on, I assume, Victor Osimhen's on the bench. He's just been brought on. So there you go. He has been brought on. They've swapped Enzo Fernandez to come on as well. Who's Dalton Atkins? He must be a youngster. A young 16-year-old bold Barbados player. Interesting. It's half time at extra time. I wasn't expecting to see that. Let's see if we can find a winner. There is going to be a highlight. Juventus boot it long and Antonio Silva collects it. Enzo Fernandez. Ward-Prowse is playing right back. Still, they've not moved him on. I wonder what they're going to do in the window this summer. By the way, I checked the finances. They are okay. So then they're doing all right with their finances still. I think they've got money to spend. And if they did want to sell players, they've got so many players' assets that they could sell on, right? Here's Leao. Can they win it in extra time? Osimhen off the bench. And they probably have won it. Victor Osimhen has scored again. It feels like our Champions League final that we had with them, right? He's come in and scored in extra time. Can they see this one through now? Will still. They've gone for a very narrow diamond. They keep moving Moretti in and out. Interesting. There is a highlight. Before they're going to lift this trophy, can Juventus force penalties? Guardiola playing centre-back. I don't know if he started there, but interesting. Awono's on, look, at left-back, I think. That's our youngster that we signed. Oh, I miss some of these lads, you know. Be nice to try and get one or two of them back over to Almeria as well. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Ward-Prowse, down the right. Surely just waste time, lads. The whistle's about to go. Fernandez over to França. The unsung hero of this save for a lot of people. Osimhen back to França. He's going to smash it at the keeper who saves it. And I think we've got a corner. I think that should be that, right? The minute has been played. Ward-Prowse can just swing this in. And I think the whistle's going to go. Spurs are going to win the Champions League again, and surely Will still stays in a job because of that. Oh, well, they've scored anyway. They've scored from the corner to make it 4-2. It's Antonio Silva to head in the crowning glory of this final here. It's a good free kick. Oh, good corner, I should say, from Ward-Prowse. It's a good back post header, but he really does leap high. That is that. Spurs have won it for 2 seasons in a row. There is, look, Will Still, I think, leading. Is that Will Still in the tracksuit? I'm not sure. I feel like it might be. He definitely has his ginger hair there. Maybe it is. Harry Kane's got the trophy anyway. He's going to walk across and lift it. I think it is Will Still in the tracksuit. It is a second Champions League win in a row. Let's get ourselves out of here because this isn't our team. We need to go and have a look at some transfer stuff for us as they win it 4-2 there. Look, I was spotted. It was at Old Trafford as well. Sources in the media are so far at a loss to explain Clayts' reason for attending the game. Surely it's not that difficult to work out. It's my old team. Wouldn't you just say it was that? Anyway, in terms of transfer stuff, there hasn't been a lot of other things going on. I have confirmed that we're going to sign Andriy Lucas Gudjohnsen, Eidur's son, to come in as a backup striker for us. That is about it. We have been told, though, our transfer budget. It's £18 million and the wages hasn't changed, which I think it will change because if you look at the players that are likely to go out, we will have some wages saved by players who are just leaving at the end of their contract. So I'm hoping that we get enough wages in that this transfer budget can be, topped up a little bit, that we can then think about who we're going to sign, because it's going to be a lot of players. I was just going through the team and thinking we're going to need a right winger. We're going to need some backups for a lot of these positions. But in terms of a first team squad, I think we definitely need a right winger, but other positions, do we need them? I was actually looking as well. Do we start Perez and maybe sell on the, who is it on here? Pacheco, who was wanted still, look, by Bournemouth, and a couple of other teams were in for him too. Do we sell him on? Potentially is what I'm thinking. There's the updates. Oh, also, Bilal Touré is wanted by Valladolid. I'm going to offer him out and transfer list him and see if we get a bid for him because I think his time is up. I've taken Keiki off the transfer list. I've decided he's on low wages. He's not got a massive value. That 10 million bid from Bristol City didn't happen in the end. So I think I'm going to keep him as a backup. And I think as long as we get a really good first team squad from where we are as a club right now, I think I'm okay with that. So I think I'm going to do that. We've got Alejandro, who could be this as well, by the way. So we do have enough players. We're just, with all of these going, we're going to need backups. I'm going to go way into, in fact, I'm going to go over to the tick over point, which is, we've got bids actually here. We could do a bit of an auction here. Let's see if we can get 3 mil. 3 mil from Valencia. That's good. Can we get 3.5 from Vallecano? We can't, so I'm going to reject theirs. Let's see if we can get 3.5 from... this is a Portuguese team. We can, which means I can reject Valencia's. We'll take the 3.5 for now, and then we will offer him back out and see if we can get 4 million and do a tiny bit of an auction here, which I find is the best way to get good money for transfers. Let's offer him out again for that and see if we get that. And I think the tick over date's quite late to the new season in Spain. I'm going to go at least up until then in today's video, and if there's not much transfer stuff, we'll leave it at that for today and then come back and we'll have lots of transfer stuff to talk about in the next video. But I will see you on the day where we go over to the new season. I want to see whether this reputation changes to Continental now that we've qualified for Europe. I'll see you, I think it's in July sometime. I'll see you then. Okay, so it is now the 10th of July, which is the tick over day. It's quite late here in Spain, and I'm just having a look at the players that would be interested in moving to our club. And honestly, right at the top of this list in terms of just the value of players is this guy here, Matthew Colon. And I'm still debating, now without his release clause, could we do a deal to bring him in? That would be alongside the other bit of business that I've looked to do, which is Romeo Lavia, who is available and interested in joining. Southampton are still in the Premier League, but he would be interested in joining us here at Almeria. And I could do a bid that looks a little bit like this. It's 26 million guaranteed. It's about 10 million pounds up front now, 9 million pounds up front now, rising to 44 million. I think, and they've accepted it, I could offer a contract from here. I'm wondering if this is going to be our first bit of business. Would that allow us to have, with all of the players that have now left the club, which is a fair few, by the way. If we go to transfer history, they've actually ended up going on the end of last season's here. It is Bilal Touré has moved on to, is it Vitoria, this team? I never quite know. Is that, yeah, I think it's Vitoria. Anyway, it's the Portuguese team there. He's moved on. And then alongside those, we've got the release players of Neymar. He's now retired. Baragi's gone. Varane's gone. And Joaquin Correa has now moved on. It frees up an awful lot of wages, £273,000 per week, £23 million, which could make to 36. I'm not going to do that because we might need the wages, to be honest. And I've got some other players just leaving here. I've just rejected a loan bid for Keiki. Could we squeeze out a deal for Lavia and Colon with some future incentives? They want about £65 million, which is obviously a lot of money. If we do 10 million up front, I'm going to do this with you. He is so good. It would be a game changer. And we could sell Chevalier if we were to bring in Colon. 15 million. I mean, this is going to be a silly amount of money. All in the... This is what we did at Spurs, which kind of... Did it break? It didn't break us. We won the Champions League and they've just won it again. So it is worth it. We'd probably have to do a percentage of next sale as well to be able to bring this price down slightly. But like, let's see whether they go for something like this. 53 million, that is. We're actually not that far away. 15 million up front. Could we work this? 30 million. I mean, is he worth it? I think the answer is yes, because he is that good. Let's put a little bit more onto those. Can we do anything else with these? After... What about that? What about that? Freiburg. That's a big amount of money for you, and it's a lot of money for us. I will admit that, but we would be set in our goalkeeping position forever, and we finally have this player we've been looking for. I thought they might. I'm going to put the bid in. We're going to have to raise a little bit of money as well, because that was, what, 14 million plus the 9. It'd be pretty close. We could probably just about afford this. But does that give us a big enough squad? Probably not. We're going to maybe have to look to bring in some loans and some other players too. By the way, Mario Fernandes has joined and looks pretty good. His value is way up already. He is one of our non-EU players, so I do need to watch that. He's actually not registered, which I do need to do here. We've got 3 non-EUs, which I filled up already. So any player that we do bring in does need to be an EU player, which Lavia would be that, right? He's Belgian, so he would be fine in that regard, yeah. And Colon would be fine. Oh, actually, would Colon be a non-EU player? He's got other nationality German, so I think he'd be fine actually as well. If he comes in, we could sell Chevalier, who's got a decent amount of value too, and big wages. So, do you know what? We're going to try for it. I'm going to leave today's episode there. I'm going to try for this next episode. I'm going to show you everything that I've done in the window. And we're going to start our second season. The season where I think we're aiming for Champions League next year. Is that a tall order? It's a difficult thing to do. I think we're going to go for it. We're also going to go on a European adventure here at Almeria. thank you so much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been quite a long video, actually, especially with this voice. I was going to do a short one, but it ended up... I'm having so much fun with this save. I spent hours and hours making these videos because I play through quite a lot in the course of one video. Like, it's gone dark outside during the course of this, and I'm still hooked to it. I still want to do more. I will call it there for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a like on the video. It really, really does help to push the video out to a wider audience and keep people's eyes on the series. And if you would love to, if you'd be happy to, please leave a comment down below. If you don't know what to say, just say thanks for the series and let me know if you're enjoying this series, because it really does help to push the video out for a wider audience. And of course, subscribe to the channel. But most importantly, have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.